Hi everyone, Mr McMahon from Dufton Live again. Right, I've got my chords. I'm going to think, how do I make a melody over those chords? So I've settled on some chords that I like. Chords are A minor, F, then I'm going to play F again, and then G. So I'm working in the key of C, and my chords that I've chosen are 6, which is the A minor, 4, which is the F, 4 again, and then 5. Notice I haven't even used number 1. I'm still in the key of C, but I just haven't used number 1. Now this is going to be my verse, so maybe when I get to my chorus I might change the chords, and maybe I'll have number 1 then. I don't know yet, I'm just starting it out. So, A minor to F, F to G. How do I make a melody? Now, I could just try and hum something over the top and hope it works. Oh, something over the top. Didn't go very well, did it? Well, maybe I'll try again. Something over the top. Oh, I sound a little bit better towards the end, but it's still a bit random. Maybe I should try and figure it out by playing it rather than singing it. It's not really working today. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you play that and you just, oh, and it's beautiful. But not today. So I've got to think of another way. Well, what notes should I use? Now, if I just use any random notes over the top, not so much. Okay, think a bit more. Oh, that's right, we're in the key of C, so that means I can only really use white notes. So maybe if I just play some random white notes, that'll sound better. Some of it sounded okay, some of it still sounded pretty rough. Got a better technique. Okay, here's this tip. If you play a chord, your melody is going to include some of the notes from that chord. Because if it doesn't, it just sounds wrong. If my chord is A minor, which has A, C and E in it, but I play my melody with B and D, it just feels like, they don't feel like they're together, they feel like they're two different things. So maybe I can change those notes, so instead of playing, maybe I'll play C and E. Automatically that sounds more like a melody that's going to suit. This is, it's a start. Now, doesn't mean you have to only use the notes of your chord, but if you either start on a note in your chord or end on a note in your chord, it makes sense. So before, when I played B and D, let's change that to B and C. So I'm going to end on that C, which is in my A minor chord, right? This is much better now because I'm including a note in the chord. So I can still play a note that's not in the chord, but if I only use notes not in the chord, it sounds really wrong. So that's a good start for my A minor. Then I went to F. Again, I'm going to want to use some, not necessarily all, and not necessarily only, but some of the notes that are in F. Now, when I played my little melody over A minor, I ended on the C. If I look at my F chord, it's got a C in it. So maybe I should play that again. Works. Another thing we really like, our brains really like some repetition, something to grab onto. That's, the bit of the song that really hooks us in. We want to hear it more than once. If we just hear everything once and then move on, we can't quite connect with anything. So having the same movement, having the same little notes over two different chords is a really good way to do that. Now this is what's called a step. in musical melody terms. I'm going from one note just a little bit up. I'm just stepping up to the next note. I could be stepping down. I could be going, but in this case I'm going step up, step up. Now if I just did that all the time, it becomes a little bit boring. If I just went, it works, but it's going to be a bit boring for 4 minutes. So the best thing to do is combine some steps, some small movements in the melody, with some leaps, so some bigger movements in the melody. So instead of going just to the next note, I might go all the way up to this one. Now, I didn't like that so much for this start, so maybe I'll try and get some leaps in a little bit later in my melody. So, and repeat that, so we've got something to hook onto. Now I'm going to go all the way up to this F. So I'm going to leap. I'm going to leap up, create a bit of excitement in my melody. And I'm just going to play that twice, because that goes with my F chord. And then I need to find somewhere to go for my G chord. Now G, B and D. And I'm up here. That doesn't quite work yet, does it? But remember, maybe I can use it but then go to a note in my G chord. So maybe I could go up, or maybe I could go down. And I'm going to try doing some steps down. So I've got a combination of steps, I've got a combination of leaps, I've got a combination of using notes that are in my chords but not all the time, and that should create a sort of a nice balance. Now, let's see. I haven't never played this before. I've never put all this together. Let's see if it works. Let's try it again. I'm going to sing something off the top of my head here. This is the first melody I have for this song I'm still writing. I reckon that is a good start. It's not finished yet. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I reckon that is a good start. So if you remember those little techniques, use some notes that are in your chords. Finish on the note in your chord, makes it feel like it resolves. Use some steps, use some leaps, combine that all together. Maybe I need to work on the rhythm a little bit more and change the rhythm of it. It's a bit sort of maybe I need to play with that a bit more. But it's definitely a good place to start, and that's what this is all about. Giving you a tip to help your melody writing on its way. Thanks guys, see you next time.